Welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, as I predicted, I did lose a little bit of my voice. I feel fine, just this is what happens. I rarely manifest any signs or symptoms of any illness at all until all of a sudden I lose my voice. But I did want to carry on as I was looking forward at different screen recorders available on Linux Mint, because as we are looking at the development of Wayland, there are a number of Wayland issues that have been fixed. As of right now, I think there's 64 open Wayland issues on Linux Mint Cinnamon with Wayland, and there are, I believe, 18 that are closed or marked as irrelevant. And today I want to have a look at the state of screen recorders. So let me talk first about my setup. We are recording this on two pieces of real hardware. So I have a Dell Inspiron laptop. It's running Linux Mint 21.3. Linux kernel 6.5. We can see our graphics, our GPU. We can see our memory, our hard drive. Here's our graphics. And right now we are on X. We're going to repeat the same experiment here looking at Wayland as well. Hopefully Wayland works. Last time I tried to boot into it, didn't work at all. That's kind of hit and miss. So we'll see what happens. So that is where our setup is. I'm using my capture card to record this on the main streaming computer. So I'm going to be using the Logitech C920 webcam as the microphone on our test computer. And of course, I'm using my standard microphone doing the original video. So just to indicate where we are. So what I did is I went into the software manager and I wanted to have a look at what are the available screen recorders. It looks like we have more updates to Flatpak. This is why I'm not a huge fan of Flatpaks. They're just upgrading constantly. So let me actually just type in screen recorder to show you what our options are here. So simple screen recorder, as you know, is my preferred. It does not work at all under Wayland. We have our blue recorder, GPU screen recorder. We have Peak. And then the other one, which exists that doesn't show up in that list for some reason, is Kooha. So Kooha is another screen recorder as well. So these are the various options that we have. So first we're going to test these guys out on X. Now there is also OBS, and we're not going to do OBS. And the reason we're not going to is because it's not really designed as a full screen recorder as much as an entire broadcast studio. Yes, it can do the job. You can see I have a simple setup. We have a screen capture where we can go into our properties and we can choose what we're recording, which screen. We can record all these elements. We can add our microphones. And the advantage of it, of course, is you can do anything and everything you want. So it is really good, but it is overkill if all you're trying to do is record a screen. So we're not going to include OBS, which for the record, on Linux Mint Cinnamon Wayland does not work as of right now. In fact, that is what has caused my system to crash under Wayland. Every single time I boot OBS, whole system entirely crashes. But let's go ahead and have a look at the various other screen recorders. First, let's go ahead and have a look at my preferred, which is simple screen recorder, which is still my favorite. What I like about it is we have a lot of different options. We can choose which screen. Of course, if you have multiple monitors, you can choose which monitor you're going to use. We can record a fixed rectangle. So basically select an area. You can follow the cursor, which is record the whole screen with the cursor. We can record or not record the cursor over here. Then we have a few other options there as well. We can set our frame rate, we can scale the video, and then we can record or not record audio very simply, and then you can just come down here and select what you want. So we're going to select our webcam and hit the next screen. We can set where we're saving it to. We can add the timestamp, which gets added to the file name, and then we can choose your container as well. MK4, MPV, WebM, OGG, and other. And then you can set various codecs as well for the audio and the video separately. That is really nice. Now, the next feature we have in Simple Screen Recorder is the preview button. I can tell that the microphone is working. I can tell that my screen is recording, and I can actually see what my previews look like. If I go ahead and start recording, I can go ahead and just do whatever I want to do on the screen. I can pause the recording at any time. So, okay, we're waiting on a big update because, you know, the Flatpaks need to update again. Okay. Go ahead and hit your stop. You can pause that. You can restart that again. It's going to pick that up exactly where it was. And you can then save the recording there. You can see here, we pull this guy up. Audio's working. I'm not sure if you can pick that up, but I'll go ahead and clip that video here. Recording. I can go ahead and just do whatever I want to do on the screen. I can pause the recording at any time. So, okay, we're waiting on a big update because, you know, the flat packs need update. You can restart that again. It's going to pick that up exactly where it was. Okay, so that is Simple Screen Recorder on X, works perfectly fine. Now, of course, Kooha is the issue. I cannot get Kooha working anywhere on this or on Debian. I have not tried Kooha on Fedora yet. I have it installed. I did install a bare metal Fedora, but I didn't have enough time to test it out. Usually it does actually load for me. You can see right now Kooha is apparently not even really wanting to load. So usually that's unusual. Usually it loads, but when you hit the button, it fails. And what I wanted to show you is I wanted to show you that when it fails, there's a link on the page which will take you to a website which has solutions for if it doesn't work. I walked through every one of those solutions. Now, it looks like it might be specifically designed to work with Wayland. It doesn't work on Wayland either, just an FYI. We will get to that. But you can see right now it's not even booting, which is actually something similar I got most of the time trying to run it on Budgie on Debian as well. Ran into problems with it. So let's go ahead and have a look at another screen recorder. Peak. So Peak is not a good ideal screen recorder. It basically produces this overlay window. And whatever is inside that overlay window is going to be recorded. And it does not record audio by default. You can select from a GIF, a ping, which is a transparent ping. You can do MP4 or WebM. And if you look at your other preferences, here you can do your, you can set the delay before it starts. You can capture the mouse cursor or not. You can set your frame rate. You can select your output container formula. And then there are hotkeys for start, stop recording. And then you can show the desktop notification or not. Now, you can't move this window around once you start recording, but you can set. So if you just need to grab a quick, simple something on a screen that is static, you can go ahead and do that. Hit the record. You get your countdown timer. And then once that's done, then you can go ahead and do whatever you want to do within the scope of inside this window. Everything outside the window is not going to record. Everything in the window is. Go ahead and hit stop. It's going to give you a pop-up here to save the file. So now we have a file that is saved, and here it is. So the advantage is it gives you a nice little easy to design window there, but it doesn't really give you access to anything outside of that window, doesn't give you any audio. So obviously that is a problem under some screen recording situations. Now the next one we are going to look at is Blue Recorder. So Blue Recorder I found was really nice under X. This one actually gave us fairly close to what we got under Simple Screen Recorder, except it has a limitation. It doesn't give us a preview window. And here's your audio source. So you can select where your audio source is. You can run a command after recording. So that's neat if you have something there. Here's our frame rate. You can record audio or not. So that's nice and easy. You can show the mouse or not, record video or not. And then we can select a window. We can select a screen. We can select an area. So there are a number of options that you have inside of this. Over here, you can select your various container between different types of container choices. So that works out pretty well. And then, of course, here's your default file name. You'll see it show up, or you can specify. It saves here into the videos. So go ahead and hit your recording. Of course, you can minimize this. You can do whatever you need to do on your whole screen. And this is going to work out pretty well. Hit your stop recording. And it does seem to take a little bit of a lag to hit the stop recording. It looks like nothing is happening. And you can see that it finished its thing. And that, I believe, is this one. So audio's working just fine. You can see what this looks like. And I'll go ahead and once again, I'll link this in the video here. So go ahead and hit your recording. Of course, you can minimize this. You can do whatever you need to do on your whole screen. And this is going to work out pretty well. This brings us to our last screen recorder that was easily findable inside the repository, and that was the GPU screen recorder. The GPU screen recorder is the only one I found that works under both with some limitations. The record area on X, we can record a window, follow a focused window, or we can monitor the whole monitor screen. So this one works out well. On Wayland, you can only record the whole screen. You can't record the other options there at this time. You can do an audio track or not. So you can go ahead and select where your track is at. Here you can add extra audio tracks. So if you're trying to pull things in from different sources, this is really good for that reason, that you can do different sources here. Of course, this is our advanced view, our simple view. We have that. Here's our advanced view. We can set our color range. I'll go ahead and keep it on limited for the sake of argument here. There is a full color range as well. And here's our video quality, our codecs. So you have a couple codecs to choose from. And again, a couple audio codecs to choose from. And then here is your frame rate. So you can do a constant or a variable or do audio. And once we hit record, we are taken to this screen here. You can press Alt F1 to start and stop, Alt F2 to pause or unpause. So you have a pause, unpause, and a start and a stop option. And once again, we can select our container over here. Hit your start recording, and now we are officially recording. You can once again do everything that you want to do, and that's going to work out there. So hit stop recording. We get a notification that it's done, and here's that recording. Okay, so that one actually works out pretty well. Now we are officially recording. You can once again do everything that you want to do, and that's going to work out there. So now we are going to go ahead and exit out of here and head on over to Wayland. Okay, so looks like we are set up. Let's go ahead and double check our system. Make sure that it does tell us we are on Wayland. So now we are on Linux Mint Cinnamon under Wayland. And we will go ahead and have a look at our various screen recorders. Of course, my favorite simple screen recorder is going to fail because we are not using X. So, okay, that doesn't work. I think it'll still record audio, maybe. I can't remember. But it's not going to be viable for what we're doing. So, of course, Kooha is the one that was recommended. And, hey, at least it boots this time. So go ahead and hit the record button, and you see it doesn't work. So if you hit this button here, it's going to take you up to a page, and there's a series of different questions about it. And if you go down, the first thing they want to do, make sure everything is set up. Make sure if we're running Flatpak, we're running our various Kooha experimentals. Literally everything to this page. I did everything this page recommended, and I did everything that the checklist recommended as well. Everything is working. Everything is set up. Kooha simply doesn't work. I got the similar results on Debian. So Kooha, in my opinion, right now is not ready for prime time. They have a lot of work to do. Here is Peak. So Peak, let's go ahead and run this. Here's our 3, 2, 1. So inside of our Peak, I can't do anything under the window. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it did work. Look at that. All right. I goofed up. I moved. If you move the window, it completely kills everything. So let me go ahead and restart Peak. That is like if you accidentally move this thing, it just kills the whole thing. All right, we're going to try that again. All right, so here we are. And you'll see I can't seem to select anything in there. Here's outside. I can't seem to select anything in there. Okay. So now we have our option here to save these guys. There we have it. Let's go back over to video, close this out. Here is Peak. And you can see that we get this beautiful black screen. So that is not working right now with Wayland. So let's go ahead and have a look at our next option. So let's look at Blue Recorder. So under Blue Recorder, you'll see that we can we can't do an area. We can select a window or we can select a screen. Again, we're going to hit the screen option, and then let's go ahead and grab our camera for our microphone and hit record, and it crashes. And that has been my result every single time trying to use Blue Recorder here on Wayland on Linux Mint. And let's see if we can do any window. In theory, we should, if we hit select a window, it should give us the option to select a window, but Blue Recorder does not work. And GPU Screen Recorder is the only one that has worked everywhere. Now, with this limitation, doing a window capture and follow a small section is currently unsupported, but we can actually record the whole monitor. Here's our audio track. It did remember where we were, so that is good. And then all of our settings down here also work. Hit our record button, takes us over here. We can select our container and our place, hit start recording, and now we are recording. So there we have it. And let's go ahead and pull that guy back up. Pause recording. And we'll stop it. We get our notification that it is saved. And here's our recording. So you can see that this one does work under Wayland. And now we are recording. So there we have it. And let's go ahead and pull that guy back up. So if you are experimenting with different screen recordings and you need to do screen recording things, I would probably recommend having a look at the GPU Screen Recorder. It is the only one that here on Linux Mint under their experimental Wayland. It works, other than, of course, the limitation of your window and your small size capture. Does not work over there, but it does work full well on X. It works here. So if you are looking for one screen recorder that's going to work under both environments right now in the still testing phase, GPU Screen Recorder appears to be the one that you're going to want to use. If I remember correctly, I think this one was the Flatpak version, and there might be a repository version as well. But for the sake of this video, I did the Flatpak. Nope, looks like this is the one that only had the Flatpak. I think it was probably Blue Screen Recorder that also had a repository version. So there you have it. Under Wayland, if you are playing around with the experimental Linux Mint Wayland and you do need a screen recorder, it looks like your best option right now is that GPU. And of course, just to show you what type of fun we can get into, if we open up OBS under Wayland, I'm not sure I actually opened it. I think my mouse, nope, I did open it. It crashed. That's what happens. So that's what we get. Hey, at least I can still shut the system down, but we have no desktop, and some things go a little bit wonky from this point in time. So that's what happens if you try and start up OBS under Wayland right now. Well, guys, thanks for having a look at this video, checking out the current state of Wayland on Linux Mint. There is still some development to be done. And overall, though, we are starting to see a little bit of progress. Hopefully this helped you out to look into some more screen recorders if you're trying to get more work done.